My name is Shauna Jones. I am from San Bernardino, California, born and raised. Been living in Palm Springs for the past 6 or 7 years. A really, I don't know, a crazy, weird, introverted type person. You know, growing up, I was always shy. I was always really kind of timid and in my own world. And so for a long time, I think I always had this creative energy, but didn't really have the guts to kind of direct it to anything in particular. And I don't know, I just kind of went through life just kind of being, you know, confined to myself. And so it wasn't until just moving out to Palm Springs that I finally received my confidence, you know, as a businesswoman, and just tackling, you know, some of the dreams that I had growing up. I am a creator. I always have to tap into some of my creative ability, but for the most part, I consider myself a producer, and so I produce a lot of different things, whether it's events, it could be nonprofit organizations, it could be galas, it could be radio programs, outdoor campus events. I've worked with College of the Desert and KCOD Radio on doing some of their radio program and some of their campus events. Also, theater. So there's just so many different things I love to do, but the core of it has been in the production realm. A lot of people don't like to tackle some of the mundane tasks, whether it's like contract negotiation, you know, booking the venues, holding the auditions to find, you know, your DJs or finding your actors, those sort of things. So I kind of like to put I just put product together, pieces of the puzzle together, and we handle problems in a creative way. Sometimes you just have to, you know, things always go wrong in events, and so you just kind of have to think on the fly and on the go. But I always knew at some point, I didn't really consider myself wanting to be a producer. I think I always just wanted to do something that had a creative edge, but I was never a singer. I was too shy to be a dancer. So I was afraid to get out there. So I always liked to be behind the scenes. And I remember seeing the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy and Robin Givens. And it was the first time that I saw like Black people in a corporate setting. When I was going to school, I switched my major from sports medicine, and when I saw that, I was like, you know, I think I want to go into business for myself. And that's when I made the switch, and I became a marketing major with the goal in mind to do marketing. And then graduating, I didn't really get the jobs that I was looking for. And so when I moved to Palm Springs, I was able to just kind of just wing it and say, you know what, I always wanted to do like a talent showcase, an open mic. And that's kind of where I started to do producing events. And then from there, I learned that, you know what, I'm a pretty good producer. And so that's kind of where I made the switch as far as like marketing, you know, trying to be a marketing, advertising exec into the whole producing events and sort of that realm. Can't wait for someone else to discover you, and it's a big thing, especially me being a little more shy and being a little more kind of reserved, so to speak. You know, really selling yourself on what your talents are excuse me, and what you're great at can be a little bit intimidating, you know, just because you don't know if, you know, people are looking for, are you good enough? And so those doubts and those some of those things ring in your head, and so you get a little freaked out because you're doubting yourself. And I think the biggest thing that you have to know as an independent artist is that you have to be so confident, so sure of yourself, even if you don't know everything, because no one knows everything. For me, I always thought that once I started doing events and I started putting myself out there, that some big, I don't know, giant guru, God or somebody would like come and they would discover me and be like, oh my gosh, you're fantastic, and we would love to have you on this project and pay you like $8,100 million. And so that's what I always thought, is that the more I put myself out there, that someone is going to see me and they're going to come. But it's really about you selling yourself. So you actually have to take what you're doing, what your talents are, gather them up, package them with as much confidence and just, sass as you can, and go to those people and say, look, this is what I have, this is why you need me, this is how I can make your life better. Whether it's radio, whether you're a writer, there's a lot of times, a lot of these people have a positive message, and that's why there's a lot of independent artists, because they want to express something that whether they're going through or they want to make a positive change or effect on the world. And so those things are very valid points that you need to express to as many people as you can. And it's great to do it on a local level, but at some point, if you want to be, if God gave you the calling to be this, great person who will affect the world and your planet in some way, shape, or form, then you have to take the next step, go to the next level, and really start pushing those people who are at the higher level to, get bigger distribution, to get your word, to get your message out there. Because if the people aren't hearing it, then what good is it? Because there's someone else out there that needs to hear that you probably can inspire someone on the continent of Africa or in Europe. Even if you're doing great work in your community, there's other people that need to hear your message. I think that independent artists, whether you're an entertainer, you're a singer, you're a dancer, you're a DJ, whether you're a producer, a lot of times we don't get the pay that we deserve. It's like people don't want to pay you because they feel like, you're not worth anything just because maybe you're not attached to a big distribution company, or, I didn't see you on the Wendy Williams show, or I didn't see your video on MTV. So I think that independent artists kind of, they get the short end of the stick, because a lot of people have this perception, like just because you're on a network television show or you're being interviewed, that you are the cream of the crop and you're the best of the best. When a lot of times these big name artists aren't really, it's just a marketing tool. It's a gimmick, and none of them really have the talent. And there's a lot of independent artists who are struggling, who are the brick is, their back is against the wall and they're trying to make things work, and they have so much talent, but without the proper, funding, without getting paid, which what you're worth, can be kind of discouraging, and it kind of hinders what you can do. Because at the end of the day, we all have, we might have family, we have work, we have bills, and we have other things that we have to take care of, and we're still trying to pursue this dream. But yet there's people who don't want to pay you, or they want to pay you like in like credit, or they want to pay you in gift certificates, or they want to put, what I'm saying, they just give you little trinkets. No, I need cash, what I'm saying? So I think that's the struggle with a lot of independent artists, is that we're just as worthy as those people that you see on TV, and if not more so, because we don't have a team behind us. We're doing everything ourselves. We're doing our own A&R, we're doing our own PR, our own marketing, we're doing our makeup, we're doing everything, because we can't afford to pay, those other things that some of the big name artists have in the industry. So I think that's like one of my biggest, I guess pet peeves, is that a lot of times people don't want to pay independent artists. It kind of sucks. But I think that but at the same time, us as artists have to stand up, and demand, I am worthy. Because then we also think that because we're not on big time TV and we're not backed by such and such or P. Diddy, whatever, these people who we think have clout, that maybe we're not worth, getting $10,000 for a show, or we're not worth getting paid X amount of dollars to produce, a big production. So I think we ourselves have to have the confidence and know what we're worth as far as our art is concerned, and continue to improve on our art, and always, kind of want to learn, what's new, what's hot, what's fresh, so that we can kind of keep up with the industry. And then, I think once we get to that point where we know what we're worth, and, so yes, there are cases where if it's economically possible and someone is willing, or they're only able to budget for my travel and for food, then yes, I can go. But if there are instances where if, I just can't afford to, make the trip for whatever reason, like I can't do it, I got kids, I don't have kids, but I'm just saying if I did, if I had mouths to feed and I couldn't make the trip, yes, that might not be enough. But for me, I'm not single anymore. Ooh, let me watch what I'm about to say. But right now, while I don't have a whole lot of other responsibility, and it's just myself, my husband, and we can make it work, heck yeah, I'd go to Oxnard for a chicken dinner and some gas. Come on. That's the least they can do. A lot of people say if you do something, an event, and maybe it's not successful, they might say, well, you should have done this, or you need to do this. And you're like, well, excuse me, were you helping me? Like, I didn't see you, on the grind, like street teaming for me. I didn't see you invest any money into the project. I didn't see you sit down and say, hey, Shauna, what do you need help with? I can, I have these talents, I can do X, Y, and Z. And I think that's the most irksome thing, is when someone feels like they know more than you do, but they're not on the ground, you know what I'm saying, making, spinning the wheels and on the ground running, trying to make things work. And so a lot of these people just come from this idea of, I don't know, whatever misconceptions they have or perceptions they have on how to run an event or how to produce something, when they haven't actually done it. So you can't tell me anything unless you're in the trenches with me. So I think that's the one thing that I super duper quadruple hate, is for someone to come at me and be like, well, you need to do, such and such. Excuse me? Like, I did that. I tried it. It didn't work. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm already wrapping my brain on why it didn't work and what is it that I can do to make it better. And so I don't need you, and you've never done it before, to come at me. I don't have time for that. Sorry. I've been working in theater a lot, so I think the next thing for me would probably be trying to produce more theater projects. Theater has been really fun for me, and it's been the art form that I've been able to break out of myself and really gain my confidence, because I've had the opportunity to work on the stage as an actor and behind the scenes. So I think that would be really cool to do like Broadway shows, produce some really big projects in LA and in New York. But I think that I don't, kind of the sky's the limit. I would like it all to come full circle. I would love to have a full-fledged production company where I can produce television, I can produce film, I can produce theater. So I'm actually thinking about doing a master's in theater arts, just because I don't have any formal training, but I think if it's something that you really love to do, you really have to constantly be on top of your craft and really want to get better, because there's always new stuff, new techniques, things that you haven't seen before, and it just kind of keeps the creativity going. So I think that would be really cool to do some things like that. And I think that I just kind of I really I like to kind of be in front, in front of the camera, but I like putting other people on. If I realize that someone else has talent, developing a show, a radio show, or a film project, around them. And just to work with as many people as I can. And so I'm trying to make this transition out of the Coachella Valley kind of into LA, just to kind of build up my network and just kind of see how it is out there. It's and just see what the opportunities are, because I almost feel like I've exhausted my possibilities out here in the desert. So just that next step, that next level, just kind of pushing forward and seeing where it goes. I'm an adventurer, so I'll do anything. I'll try anything once. I'll eat anything. Oh my gosh. Like, what I really want to do is to be like a black girl, like what's his name? Andrew Zimmerman, like Goody. What is the name of that show? But he goes and he eats like weird stuff. Like he goes like to Turkey and eats like, turkey, whatever, dung or something. I don't know. But I love to eat. And I love to travel. So ultimately, I would love to have like a show where I can travel and just go everywhere, meet people, experience different cultures. And if I could do that, I'd be set. I wouldn't even worry about anything else. I'd be done with it. So that's the ultimate goal. So I'm speaking that into existence. That's coming. Right now, I'm working with a company called Green Room Theater company. They are based out of the Coachella Valley, and what they're trying to do is really bring a little bit of diversity to the theater out here and really tap into the Hispanic community and the African American community. So right now we have this production, it's a holiday production called The Gift of the Magi, and we're touring it. Actually, we started yesterday. And it goes from, tonight's December 7th all the way to December 21st. And we'll be touring it in different African American churches in the Valley. So the concept really is to engage our community, trying to get young African American kids who are interested in performing arts, interested in acting, interested in theater, to get started at an early age, so that they can, have a really full-fledged, career in the arts. Because, it's obviously with anything that you do, it's best to kind of start as young as you possibly can, but then also to be able to retain the talent in the desert. Because a lot of people, once they get to a certain age, they flee, what I'm saying? Because there's nothing in the desert for young people to do. So they really want to create a really quality theater training entity where they can start to train the next generation of actors and those people who are interested in the performing arts. This new conservatory theater is that it's giving us an opportunity, as Black people, to have something that's for us, that's marketed to us, and that engages our community as well. So that's what I have in the works, and I just kind of take it. The projects just kind of come to me, just one at a time. People will call me and say, "Hey, you used to do this. Like, can you help us?" I'm like, "Okay," and just out of the blue, like I'll have like another project in the works. So I don't know. After this, we'll be working on the monologues, and then from there, look, I don't know. We just keep moving, we keep pushing, and we keep rolling. So you can visit my website, The Cool Factor. It's thecoolfactorshow.com. You can also visit me on Twitter at TheCoolFactorPS. I'm on Facebook, again, Facebook.com/The Cool Factor Show. And then also for, if you're interested in theater, you can visit the Performing Arts website, and that's going to be at palmdeserttheateracademy.com. And gosh, where else am I? I'm on YouTube. The Cool Factor show is on YouTube. You can check out, past videos of interviews we've done on radio, performances, highlights, all that cool stuff. So if you have something that you need help with as far as, producing, getting an event together, helping you find artists, that's what I'm here for. That's what I do across all the genres, radio, theater, whatever you need. I'm here for you. So call me. I need work. So it's all good. Thank you. I'm Shauna Holmes. Shauna Jones. See, I told you I forgot my new last name. And this is my story. I just told you. Bam.
As the sun keeps shining, as the moon continues to reflect the sun, as the earth